All right.
Well, that's very good.
Okay, so Barbara, you're on the phone, and I'm going to just pull up actually, this meeting can go very, very quickly. I just have to get my agenda started. I had it all organized, and now I've lost everything. Okay. First thing I wanted to do was approve the minutes. I sent you guys the minutes for the last meeting.
Yep.
So if everything's okay, we can just approve the minutes.
So moved.
Okay, 31, Barbara. Martin.
Do you want me to make a motion to accept the minutes as
Sure.
read?
Yep. Go ahead.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as read. So Martin can second them,
And they'll be approved.
Second.
Okay, approved. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that. And then the second thing, so we can go to, I have just now lost my agenda. With all this flipping around. Who has their agenda up? does any-
I don't dare try to get anything.
I have it. It's right here. Sorry, I have it right here.
Jennifer,
I have it.
website discussion.
Yep. Okay, so I just wanted to, this meeting is being recorded by continuing. Okay, I'm continuing. Okay. So the next one was Jennifer Siciliano. I just want to let everybody know that I did send her a thank you note for doing the presentation. I really appreciated it. I think it was a good idea. And I think it was really helpful. So that was number 3. Okay. I also, after our last meeting, I sent letters from the EDC because Tiverton Four Corners had been having discussions with Department of Transportation and the Tiverton Police about working on their traffic patterns. And this is something that you had raised also, Barbara.
Yes.
And
it's bad now with the groundswell serving across the street
Right.
At the old gallery.
Right.
So you have people, not so much for the customers, but you have wait staff going
back and forth.
So when you take the corner to go west, let's say, sometimes it's they're crossing the street, but it's a wonderful ambience. I'm not complaining. I think it's great.
So I just want to
in the summer, some people they'll have to, when you're approaching from the west, let's say coming from St. Howard or from Falkland on Neck Road, and then take that to go out at the Four Corners, the road, that Neck Road curve, the one that's going extension of East Road, so to say, you don't realize that all of a sudden there'll be a lot of people in the street.
Right.
Some people are used to doing that very quickly because there's no traffic, and this is like the dead end of the world down here.
Right. What I went ahead and did was.
But I'm sure they'll figure it out, and I think it's so amazing to have that ambiance. And they're busy. Even today, there were people sitting outside eating around that fire pit and all of that. I think it's the most amazing thing that's happened in a long time.
Well, let me just finish the item because because I had gone to the meeting with the Tiverton Four Corners merchants and found out about this, I went ahead and from the Economic Development Commission sent a letter to the Tiverton Police, to the Rhode Island Department of Transportation, and to the Tiverton Town Administrator saying that we support the Tiverton Four Corners Merchants Association with their project to improve the traffic mitigation down at Four Corners. I don't know where they're at with that now, but the EDC did send a letter of support. So that was to let you know. In terms of the printing, I think I also sent you something that looks really bizarre, but it's like 2 pages that had squares on it.
I saw that.
Okay, so what? Right. So basically, I had stopped by the printer, Paul's Press, and he gave me the copy. And what he suggested is that he actually came up with a really good suggestion, which is why there's another blank that looks like a postcard. So let me explain that. As far as the folding envelope, it's basically what the town of Tiverton seal with the line underneath it that says Economic Development Commission. What he suggested is that since it folds on the second page, on the fold, when you fold that, or would fold the card, at the bottom, you would print the actual address, like 343 Highland Road, and you would also put our email address, edc@tiverton.ri.gov. And then it would leave the rest of the space to write in. So that would be the design for the card that we want, the mailer that we would use to new businesses or whatever we need to do to mail something out. That would be that. The second one was, as I was talking to Paul, he suggested that, we were talking about emails and whatever. And he said, what we might want to do is, instead of doing business cards, what we might want to do is print up postcards and stamp them. And on the postcard, you could, you could hand them out to a vendor, like we could drop them off like business cards, but on the second side, since they were already stamped, we could just ask them to send back their email address or any input, or, just leave a space that, we'd like your input, please contact us at such and such and let us know your, and then we'll get emails. So it was just another suggestion that he had that I thought was actually pretty good.
That's fantastic. Before I forget, what we could do is on our board where people put the calling cards.
Yep.
It's somehow or other put a holder where we have those, and people that put calling cards in there could send us their feedback, because they're not going to write it on a separate sheet of paper. But if we have that in there, they could just put it in a Dropbox there.
Okay. All right.
Mail it in later after they fill it out.
All right. So what I'd like to do is have your permission to go ahead and come up with that, and tell Paul to go ahead. I think the wording is similar to, if people have, the wording was basically something there, whatever I wrote, just to give us feedback and to, does anybody have anything they would recommend to put
I
on?
thought it looked pretty good, and Paul, Paul's doing this stuff all the time, so.
Yeah, I trust his judgment in terms of
Yeah.
how to print it out and to make it look like, and that would be something that, like I said, instead of calling cards, we could each take some, and as you're going around town, if you're at a business, we don't have to, for example, we wouldn't have to send it to Tiverton Four Corners Association because we have all their emails. But other businesses, that you're at, I don't know, you could drop off a card and say, hey, look, I'm from the Economic Development Commission. We're, looking for people's feedback. Here's a card. You can mail us back, your email address and anything else you want, whatever.
You want to tell us?
Yeah, it would just leave a little bit of space. Who knows what kind of response we'll get? We may get some, nasty comments, but that's good too. We'll learn from it. So I think if that's okay, I'd like to go ahead and do it. We have money in the account. We haven't spent any of our, I think, $500. So I would like to go ahead with that. Yep.
Terrific.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Okay. A formality is we have to submit our yearly calendar by December 31st to the Secretary of State's office. And that just means we just have to write down whether we want to continue doing it the second Thursday, if anybody cares about changing it to a third Thursday, or just leave it the way it is. Then what I would do is just, put the dates for like January 1st, 2021 and go through the year and just send it to the town council. Secretary of State and the town council.
We can always change it.
Does it make, I think, I was wondering if people are content with the second, we used to have it on the third Thursday. I don't know why we changed it.
Because I think that, what's his name? Who can't come anyhow wanted it.
So we could go back to, the only thing that every now and then that does come up is that we wind up bumping into, for some reason or another, we wind up bumping into some stuff with the we've bumped into things with the planning board or town council, because it's the second week is their week too. So I don't know. I don't
I'm
know what.
okay with the third. I mean, it's Thursday is a good day for me, so
Okay, so let's
any
keep it
Thursday you want, I'm for it.
any Thursday I want. So
My calendar is so full, I can accommodate you on any day.
okay, so we'll keep it the second Thursday or the, okay,
right.
second Thursday is fine. Okay, and then I'll send that into Secretary of State. Okay, the gazebo. The gazebo actually belongs to the town. This was something that Barbara had brought up at one point because it looked like it needed some work, which it does. The gazebo is owned by the town, but for the past, I don't know how many years, my husband and a group of our friends in the Stonebridge area have actually maintained it and lit the Christmas tree. And right now the tree is lit because a neighbor has allowed us to put an extension cord into his house.
Across the street.
Across the street. So that's why the tree is lit. I did, because I was having an estimate done on something for my house, ask a contractor to go over and just sort of give me a ballpark figure of what it would take, because right now the thing that needs work is the roof. And I don't think I want my husband and my friends climbing up on the roof to fix the gazebo. So he came up with a price. This is Bruno Painting. The price they gave me was $3,780. Yeah, I wrote too many zeros. And just to sort of go into the next thing, well, maybe I'll take something out of order, because we're talking about this was something that I thought maybe we could either mention in our budget or add to our budget, or somehow if we wanted to take on this job. The reason we talked about maybe taking it on is because in our comprehensive plan section, the economic development section, we talk about tourism. And this is something that is a landmark in the town.
Iconic.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean,
That road was actually declared a few years ago in Yankee Magazine as one of the most scenic roads in New England.
and
It is looking down at the Standish Boatyard.
It is.
And it is.
It is the site of there is still a town well there. That's what the pump house was for. That's what the gazebo was for. There is a well under there. And I thought one way I could do this, or we could do this, is to work on our budget and then submit this as part of our budget and see what the town does with it, because I think it needs to be done.
Yeah.
I support it.
You know, I mean, I think they can tell us no, but then we can go back to them and say, look, fine, you don't want to do it, but this is something for the town. And actually what they should also be doing is looking at putting some kind of electricity in there so that the neighbor doesn't have to put an extension cord to light the stupid tree.
If nothing else, put a conduit underneath. I mean, the power, the cost of the electricity is pretty minimal, I'm sure, but an extension cord across the street is kind of crazy. But
yeah, but that's what
even though it's a quiet street.
it's a quiet street. But the thing is that, you know, it's the neighbor's been very kind, and I think everybody appreciates it, and nobody knows that the neighbor's paying for it. So I think we need to sort of step this up.
But you know what? Maybe if people know, somebody will call. It's against some sort of code or something. Somebody will find a code.
You can't do it.
Barbara, this is public meeting, so we have to be very careful. Everything we're being recorded, and this is public. So but
there will be some sort of.
So what I will do is I will. But so what I'd like to do then is, if it's okay, I'll hold this off, but it'll go on to the discussion for the budget. Okay. Let's go up to the EDC website. Let's go right to that. I did send some, Lisa's not here. I did send some, print out what is on our website now. I sent it to Lisa because I was going to ask her tonight if she would be willing to help clean it up. Nothing's gone on the new website. I think what's happened is because Dave is busy, it just hasn't gone up. But I do want to say that the website is looked at because I got a call. Somehow they found my number from a company that was interested in doing something in the industrial park.
Oh, wonderful.
And I was able to refer them to Jennifer Siciliano because they had no idea that there was a planner. And I don't know where it went, but I contacted Jennifer Siciliano, and I also, she said she was going to be talking to Chris Cotta, and we made the connection. So the website is something that's important. I mean, people do look at it every now and then, and I know it's been important during this COVID thing because we've been updating all kinds of information from Commerce RI. So the bottom line is it hasn't been put up yet, and I asked Lisa to help me organize it more neatly so that we, instead of asking Dave to do it, we can just give him what to put on the website. And
Yeah, that's good.
I think that's easier for him. And he's been very good about that. So that was item number 8.
The only other thing, and I think I emailed you about that, is I saw how much money was put in by Commerce Rhode Island or whatever the people are that sent that Corona bailout money to Tiverton when businesses applied. And I just wondered if there is available a full listing, because maybe judging by when I drive and that I have the radio on and like today the governor was saying that they're going to release more money and that it's very easy to apply and all of that. And I think some businesses may be so small that they don't think they're eligible, and if they saw other businesses in their town or whatever, whoever they are, apply and haven't gotten money, maybe it would help them to get up their nerve or whatever you want to say, and also apply. That would be sort of an incentive. That's why I wondered who else got money. I know, and I was surprised that Dutchman Dental got with a 300 some thousand. And
How did you find? I would like to know how you found out that Dutchman Dental got money.
It was on that news stream of local news that somehow or other comes in on my iPad every so often, but I click on it. But there was a whole list, and there was.
But you know what? But what would be helpful to me is because I actually called. I had gotten a list early on, like from the first group of people.
Yeah, for the federal.
Yeah.
Round, yeah.
And when I got the printout, I got it from Ashley Medeiros. When I got the printout, I was given. I have it here. I was given the amounts of the loans. I was given whether it was a corporation or a sole proprietorship. I was given who gave, who the conduit was, like which bank they got the loan through. And I got some information about the company, but I never got a name. There was no name on this. No own.
I printed, actually, I just realized I printed that out, and it says in Tiverton and Little Compton, some of the loans went to Dutchman Dental, $380,271, Sparks Company, Little Compton, $253,568. Now that's one of the commercial light installers, isn't it? Companies. Gray's Ice Cream, $41,532. And the Little Compton Community Center, $45,405.
And that was those were the 4 that they mentioned?
Yeah, those are the 4 that they mentioned.
Because
printed out. Yeah.
There's a lot more than that. I mean, there were 200 businesses.
Yeah. So I wondered what the other ones were, because I was surprised even to see Gray's Ice Cream place, no matter corona or no corona, is actually pretty steady, that they would have lost that much. The only place that I could see that they lost business is because they supply some restaurants with ice cream, that because restaurant traffic is down.
So,
But
I mean,
that
if I
would
look at this, if I look at this list, the loans that I got from, and I have, when you raised the question, I actually called the new person, Ron, I'm forgetting his last name, at Commerce, not Commerce IRI, at Connect Greater Newport. And he's going to look into getting me a more current list, but the loans went anywhere from $1,100 up to $143,000. That's what I had. And now you're saying that there were ones that had more. So,
yeah. Well, I'm concerned about, some real little business who really, really needs it. I think, that Dutchman Dental or Sparks Company, they're probably well deserving of the money, but they will probably survive. But I'm thinking of some really small business.
oh yeah, I know.
Unless they get some assistance, won't survive. And if they see who actually gets them, it might give them that push, say, oh, if they get it, maybe I'm eligible and I can make it.
Well, so
instead of giving up.
I understand that, but I can't get the name. I haven't gotten the names. That's my problem.
Yeah.
So that art, it would be
If you
interesting.
do, maybe we can put that on our website and say, if you see who else who got money in your community, and maybe you're also eligible or something to that effect.
Well, if I get the information from from
Yeah.
Connect Greater Newport, maybe I can see if I can do that. I'm waiting on it. Like I said, this is what I was given the first time because I was curious myself to see how many businesses in Tiverton had been able to access some of that funding.
Right.
And
But
so
you
we can,
understand what I'm trying to say.
yeah, I do. I understand. So I think, like I said, I did follow up on that. I will talk to him again, or hopefully he's getting it for me. So, but there is a question of what I would be interested in is how whoever did that article found those names. How were they able to get it? Because I have not been able to get it. So if you want, you can call the article person and find out where they got the names.
I don't know. I really don't know who wrote the article. It's
okay.
It's the cover page is Tiverton Little Compton received
Okay.
Rachel
But-
Noon of the patch stuff.
Oh, okay. So maybe you can contact Patch and see if they figured out.
Try to follow up on it.
Yeah, because I haven't gotten the names, and that was pretty
Okay.
clear.
I will do that.
Okay. All right. When I was talking to Jennifer Siciliano about whatever it was talking about, she's the town planner. One of the things she talked about was something that she thought maybe the EDC could look into, was figuring out how we could get a sign for the industrial park. A sign that could be seen from 24. Because there is none there. We've never had a sign there. I mean, Longplex has a sign. I think the storage company is going to be putting up a sign or putting up their sign. But I wanted to sort of put that out there because I don't know why there never was a sign. So I actually did a little bit of legwork on it, just out of curiosity, called up the Department of Transportation and found out if they had guidelines. And all I was given was, you can't put a sign on state land. And that was all the lady told me. Just, you
You can
can't
put it on industrial park land that it can be seen
Wait a
from.
second, Barbara, wait.
They were going to put
Yeah.
a dog park near there.
Wait a second, Barbara, what was,
Of putting a dog park too near federal highways or whatever.
right. So what were you going to say, Martin?
I was saying you can put it in the industrial park that can be seen from 24.
Right, that's what would have to be done. So after that, I contacted our Department of Public Works because I figured, well, okay, I got nothing from the state. Let me talk to the Department of Public Works. And what I was told was that when they go for signs, when they go for signs, they use a particular vendor. So I contacted that vendor and asked him about what he knew about signs. And he came up with a couple of really good ideas. So I'm wondering if this is something we can take on. It sort of goes into the next thing, projects for the EDC that would be something that would be noticeable and helpful for the town, and something we might want to work on. And I'm just throwing it out there.
But I have maybe a thing that we need to do prior to the sign. I mean, it's part of marketing, but we've had this conversation before about, is it an industrial park or is it an office park? Let's get a definition and get buy-in from the council.
Yep.
And tell them that this is an idea we'd like to work on, and what we have their support, and try to get a final reading on exactly what that park is and what the town supports, the kinds of things that the town wants to have in there. I mean, if there's some sort of manufacturing company wants to build a factory there of some sort that's agreeable, is that all right? Or is it they want quiet stuff and it's just people in ties going in and out of there?
Okay. I think that's a great idea, Martin. We could go before the town council. There's going to be a new town council as of this Monday.
Well, right. Maybe let them get their feet wet a little bit, and then.
Right. No, I agree. I think it's a good idea. I think that's a good place to start, because we could get some input from them, and that would alert Chris Cotta. And, we could talk to Jennifer Siciliano and see if she could sort of go along with us.
All right. And then, in the meantime, follow up on costs and stuff like that with the vendor and the like.
Because he had a couple, it's almost like we have to do two things at the same time, because he had a couple of ideas, because one of the ideas he was talking about was, for example, the sign that Longplex put up, that sign cost about $25,000 because it's lit, and because of the kind of sign it is. And he said, and I said, well, that's not going to work in town. That's just way too expensive. But he started talking about other things that could be done, that part of it could be done by the town, like building a cement wall, and then using having him provide letters that just say business, Tiverton Business Park.
Business Park, yeah.
Yeah, so there's all different designs, but I think you're right, Martin. I think we should probably come up with a proposal and go before the town council, like maybe after Christmas.
Right, to get at least.
Hold on a second, Barbara. Hold on a second.
So we're not doing all this stuff and then the council just says.
Hold on a second, Barbara. Barbara, hold on a second. Barbara, hold on a second. Martin was talking.
Oh, I didn't hear him.
Yeah, go ahead. I know it's hard.
But anyway, just so that we have buy-in about the approach, but then maybe have some information like that cement wall idea, and so that I kind of almost think that some sort of that letter thing, but also maybe a map of it that you can see from the highway.
Right. So would this be okay? We can go before the town council, but I'm going to ask Martin, would you be able to at least sort of look? I'm not really good at plans. I'm saying this right up front.
Okay. Yeah.
So would you be able to get like you could probably get it online, a map of the industrial park?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, and I'll stop at the town, I'll get a hold of the planner and try to put a little package together of what it is, and then you have to go look at some of the views that you're going to get from the highway.
That's what I.
So we're going to have to cut down trees so you can see it, or look at all the issues that are involved in actually getting it done.
Right.
And then what kind of infrastructure do we have to, invest in to make the sign work the way we want it to, so we don't throw our money away.
Right. I think that's, if you could just get started, I mean,
I'll do that.
the name of the guy I spoke to was, Medeiros at the, wait. His name was Medeiros at the sign shop on Crandall Road. I'm looking.
Okay.
And he was the guy I spoke to. He was really, really nice. But I think what we could do is, if you could just look at the site first of all,
I will.
and then we can sort of start thinking about where it would go. And if you can talk to Jennifer,
Yeah.
She might be able to sort of zero in. She knows what's going on there,
Right.
and who's going in where.
Right. And then, when we were going through the business of the transfer station,
Mm-hmm.
there were a lot of issues about some of the sites are very stony, or got, it has problems with ledge and so on. We need to know what we've got to sell there,
Right.
and what they could be used for.
Right. I think, just since this was an idea that she thought of too, I think she would be good to talk to. So that she, I think if you just, like I said, just sort of introduced yourself, between the two of us, we can sort of look at that and get some of the basics down, so we could go before the town council.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to go before the council with nothing. We want to go
nothing.
before a town with a bunch of possibilities
Facts.
and facts and things that can be done, and then get some guidance.
Right. Right. Okay.
All right. I'll do that.
All right, that would be great. And Barbara, I think what you were saying was there was a signage fund.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you were bringing up?
Right, yeah.
Because there was money that's in a restricted account for signage to replace. Remember when we put the thing on North Tiverton? That money was from that account. We could use that money from the account.
I'm not sure that's going to fly, because that's not really exactly North Tiverton.
But also, the town has spent hundreds and thousands of dollars on having, first of all, advertising that business park, or having plans for it drawn and redrawn and whatever. So there is an account, well, maybe there isn't, but where do they get the money to do that? And it would seem to me the most essential thing is that any business moving into town would actually be able to find the business park without having to ask 20 questions. Where can I find the Tiverton business park? So I would think there would be some means of getting something for it.
Yeah, I think if we went before them with a plan, that would be part of the discussion, but it also helps to have some ballpark figures floating around so that they don't.
Right.
And actually, if some of the work, the way this, God, why can't I remember this guy's, George Medeiros. If he, like, some of his ideas were really good, and if we could get like some of the work done by the Department of Public Works, that would be great too. So all right, so let's put that on our list of projects. I think that's something that we can sort of think about. And that kind of brings us down to the budget. I'm going to leave the rest of the projects out for a minute. Let's just do the budget. What I have was the budget that we developed last year for 2020 that we didn't get because things happened, and we had put in originally for $1,219. No, $1,219. I'm sorry, 19 cents.
Okay.
And that was like what we had wanted to do with that money was reprinting our business pamphlets, and doing a survey, and the North Tiverton garden mulch and maintenance. So that was where we got all that money. I'm thinking if we do reprinting our pamphlets, some of our pamphlets, post again with the post. I'm just trying to get ideas for, you know, what we need money for and what we could see using money for. I know we would want to do the garden maintenance again. And I know we would probably want to do the reprinting of our pamphlets again. But the whole idea of doing a survey, I wonder if at this point, do we need to continue doing that, or should we?
I think it would be difficult just because I think the state really isn't going to open up until middle of the summer at best.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if
it's like I had those placemats printed from the Arts Council from Tiverton, and some restaurants said, well, we can't, and they all liked them and took them, but some of them said, we might have trouble handing them out before we are allowed to hand them out, which
Yeah,
I
they
think
can't.
throw away
Yeah.
placemats. But in any case, the traffic everywhere is so limited anyhow.
What I was thinking was, in fact, in some ways, the fact that we're talking about doing those postcards kind of gets
it gets the potential for
it
feedback.
gets the feedback. And because that was the whole idea, was to get some input from people. And I'm just wondering if by using the postcards, we would have a better result. And so we could put in money for postcards and postage, and
I think that's a good approach.
the garden and the gazebo, and I'm trying to think if there's a, you know, like, I don't know about the sign, anything about the sign. I mean, how much we couldn't put anything about the sign in there because we have no idea.
We really can't. I mean, that's probably a little longer term thing, and hopefully there is money for marketing the industrial park that might be able to be used for that.
For stimulating business, maybe that actually would be available for a state grant.
Yeah.
Or partially.
Yeah, you're bringing, there's something else I want to just throw in for next time, because I have been reading the newspaper about what's going on in Portsmouth, and I have some ideas, but I'd like to talk about the industrial park more next time, because I think that's an area that we need to get involved in.
Yeah.
I mean, keeping our eye on North Tiverton, I'm not discounting that, but I really do think the industrial park, and because of this whole sign thing, it just got me started thinking again. So, so what we would put down is, like, the budget would be for our reprinting business pamphlets was $493. Supplies like paper and ink, we had down $96. The North Tiverton garden, we had $200 to maintain it.
Yep, that's no more than that.
What was that, hon?
No more than that.
Okay, so we'll put down the $200 for that. And then we were going to do the postcards. And we're calling it the business, postcard mailers. Okay, so we'd still come up with, and then we're going to put the gazebo.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I put together a budget, I'm going to have to send this before our next meeting. So that's why because they wanted it like the end of November, and we had already had our meeting. So I actually called them and said, look, we're not having our meeting until, December 10th. And they were okay with that. And I don't know when exactly they start the budget, but what I could tentatively do, if it's okay with you, is just those are the items, and I already have a price from last year's budget. I will just put together that budget with the estimate for the gazebo and send that in.
I agree with that.
Try.
Okay, and
See
see,
how much
because
we can get.
and then then what will happen is we'll get feedback from it, and it's a process. It's not something that's etched in stone. So if something comes up, you know, we can talk to the budget committee and see what goes on with that, or talk to the town council. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, because I just feel like we have to get something in there.
So they know we want money.
Well, yeah. And these were costs that we did want to have, but then when budgets got tight, they cut us back. So I think we should go ahead and try it again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Then,
They'll certainly let us know if they can't do it. So.
yeah, they will. They will indeed, Martin. And then the other thing was that we were talking about ideas for next year, and that we can actually still talk about next time. Like the sign and any other things that people, the gazebo, the signs, anything else we could sort of think about. And and then we'll talk about the industrial park too for next time.
Yeah, good.
Does that make sense
Right.
to people?
Yep.
I'll try to get a report ready.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, I'm like, I'll be happy to help Martin, just, you know, whatever.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that there's another person on board with this, so people are not always just hearing from me. And I can't read maps as well as you can. So I'm just gonna let that be. I'm like,
Okay.
well,
Well, it'll be an interesting process for me. And
yeah, I think I think what would be good for us, and actually part of this process could be if at some point we set up a time for us to do a walk around.
yeah, at least, yeah, because I've been as far as Longplex, and that's it. And so I have no idea about the rest of it.
So okay, let's you get started, Martin, and maybe
I
what
will.
we could do is you know, just tentatively set up you know, like after the holidays, do a walk around.
Yeah.
We'll decide on a date next meeting.
Someday when it's blowing 60 and it's about 12 out.
Or we can do a drive around.
Yes. Or somebody could demonstrate their golf carts for us and each take us for a ride on a different golf cart.
Yeah.
That would be nice. I don't really think I want to trundle around.
Yeah, so actually what we could do is like drive, and then, you know, like if we wanted to stop, just stop and get out. That's what I mean. Yeah, you know, I
I see you and your husband walking all the time and drive on Main Road, and it looks you look so cute, by the way. You're a cute couple.
probably,
I said, gee, I could never do that.
oh, well,
Just wouldn't.
well, we try to get out there, but it's not as often as we should. So, but anyway, so for the next time we will do, we're going to be talking on projects, and we are talking, part of the projects will be the sign for the industrial park itself, and anything else, because I did have some other ideas, like, you know, a contest. So just put that in your head and we'll bring that up next time after the holidays. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Is that okay, everybody?
Good with me.
Good.
Give me
Okay.
something to do.
Give you something to do. Anything else that we need to bring up?
Not that we can do anything about right now, I don't think.
No?
Any news from anybody that you've heard about, any businesses or something that we might need to address, or?
No, not,
Okay.
no.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to just, I think we can actually adjourn the meeting at 8:15 if we want.
Okay. So moved.
So
I make a
moved.
motion to adjourn
Okay.
at 8:50.
All right.
And everybody, please have a wonderful Christmas, safe Christmas, happy
Same.
Christmas.
You too.
Same as Thanksgiving, 6 of us.
You know, you had 6, we had 2, because
Yeah.
my kids
Yep.
were away.